Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be showing you some extremely easy and affordable dump and go recipes that are just so easy and so delicious. All you have to do is dump everything right into your crock pot and let it sit, and it'll be ready for you when you get back. I always love to make these before I head out to work, and then I have them ready when I get home. And I have a full, delicious meal ready for me, and I cannot wait to share these with you and hear what you think about these amazing recipes. So let's go ahead and get started. The first recipe we're going to make is a full chicken dinner, and yes, I mean full chicken dinner in the crock pot. The first thing we're doing is we are going to coat the bottom of the crock pot with some olive oil or oil of your choice and just swirl it around a little bit like I'm doing here, just to cover the bottom. Then we're going to add in some chicken. I had really large chicken breasts, and your crock pot is only so big, so I use 3 chicken breasts, but I did kind of cut them down a little bit like so. Then I'm going to make a little divider with the potatoes, and you'll see why in a second. I'm using this divider to separate the stuffing mix, which you can see I'm pouring in now. I'm putting in an entire bag of stuffing mix, and on the other side of the potatoes, I'll be putting in a bag of frozen vegetables of your choice. And then I'm going to go ahead and fill on top of the potatoes with more potatoes. We personally really like these red potatoes. I think that they make the best mashed potatoes, so that's what I'm using. But you can use any brand of vegetables, stuffing, potatoes that you want. This will still turn out absolutely amazing. So this is what this looks like, and now I'm just going to season it to taste. I'm just putting some salt, pepper, and oregano on top. It's always good if you put some more olive oil, or you can put garlic powder, onion powder. However you like to have your chicken seasoned, you can just throw it in on top and let it cook just like that. The last step I'm going to take is to put little teeny tiny slices of butter all over the top of my meal. This butter will melt and just soak down into the chicken and the mashed potatoes and the vegetables. It ends up turning out so good, and you can get that buttery flavor out. Next, you can go ahead and cook it on low for your entire duration at work for 5, 6, 7, 8 hours, or you can cook it on high for 3 to 5 hours, and it should turn out looking absolutely perfect. And you can mash up these potatoes and make mashed potatoes, or eat them just like this. They are perfect either way, and this is what it ends up looking like. We went ahead and made a side of gravy, but it just turned out so good. Next up are these absolutely perfect Crockpot ribs. I mean, just look at them. They are perfect. And one thing that's super great about them is with the leftovers, they fall right off the bone. You can make pulled pork sandwiches for another day. I went ahead and I got about 4 pounds of ribs. I cut them in half and threw them in my crock pot. After I threw them in the crock pot, I made kind of my own concoction of a bunch of random barbecue sauces. What I do is I squeeze them all out into a bowl, and I will add about 2 cups of water to the bowl, mix it around, and throw it on top of the ribs, and this just gives it a little bit of a base to work with. After that, I'm throwing on some salt and pepper to taste, and then adding our favorite barbecue sauce on top, and then I'll just take a fork and kind of smash it all down into the ribs and make sure that it's coated on evenly. As you can see, it does just kind of slide off, so do your best to put it on as best as you can and go from there. We cooked these ribs on high for 5 hours, and when they were done, this is what they looked like. As you can see, I cut one off and it just fell right off the bone. It is absolutely crazy how perfect these ribs are, and like I said, they fall right off the bone. So many bones fell out. As you can see, they're just falling out as I'm picking them up, and they are so delicious, so perfect. You have to try this recipe. Once we were done, we cut them up and we added some sauce on top. Our favorite barbecue sauce, smoky barbecue sauce. Added it on top and we ate it all up. The rest we shredded and put in the fridge for another day, and we made pulled pork sandwiches. So if you make enough, you can actually get 2 absolutely perfect, delicious meals out of this. I highly, highly, highly recommend trying these ribs. Next up is this delicious taco Mexican style tater tot casserole. Super affordable, super easy, and super delicious. You absolutely have to try this recipe. The first thing you're going to do is add a bag of tater tots and some black beans on top. You can use pinto if you prefer pinto. Then we're using a pepper and an onion, chopping them up, adding those on top like so. I cut them nice and fine. You don't have to use these if you don't like onions and peppers. It's totally up to you. Then we are adding on some ground beef that I had made previously for a taco night that we had. So these were left over, and I'm only putting it on half because I didn't want the ground beef on my half. We're adding some enchilada sauce and some fajita sauce on top. This just gives it a little bit more seasoning and a little bit more flavor. Like I said, it's totally customizable to you. We're adding mild cheddar. You can add taco cheese or Mexican style cheese, whatever you prefer. You just add whatever you like on your taco on top of these tater tots. Now we're going to let this cook on high for about 4 hours, and it turns out looking like this. I like to add some crushed up chips on top. It gives it a little bit more of a crunch, kind of like having a hard shell taco on top. Then we're adding tomatoes. I'm adding some lettuce on top. And guys, that's basically it. You scoop this bad boy out onto your plate, and if you are anything like me, you will want to cover this with sour cream and some more cheese, but it turns out looking like this. It's kind of just a mush of tacos, but it turns out so good. And next up is my 3-way Cajun chicken pasta. Yes, I said 3 ways. There are 3 different ways you can eat this pasta, and it is also so good. So the first thing is to add about 1 pound of your favorite pasta into your crock pot. I use rotini. You can use whatever type of pasta you like, and I suggest a crock pot liner for this. If you have one, definitely get some. Next, I'm adding in a jar of Alfredo sauce, and I'll go ahead and dump this in, and then I'm also adding a jar of water to it, just because the pasta will get really dry if you do not add more water. As you can see, I'm not pre-cooking the pasta, so we do need to add a little bit of water into it so that the pasta can soak up that water. If you want to cook this for extra long, you'll want to add even more water than a can into this. So I'm just going to go ahead and stir it around, make sure it's mixed up really well, and move on to the next step. I'm seasoning this with garlic and onion powder, salt and pepper, and then I'm adding a can of diced tomatoes on top. We'll go ahead and mix that around so it's nice and mixed up. I'm adding in 3 frozen chicken breasts on top. It is totally up to you if you want to use frozen, and I'm coating it with olive oil, some salt, and some pepper. I'll add a little bit of chili powder on top, and this Cajun seasoning. I will entirely coat the chicken. So this is what I did. It is spicy, so if you don't like spice, I wouldn't suggest coating it this much, but this is how we chose to do it. Then I'm going to let it sit and cook it on high for a 6-hour time limit, and it will come out amazing. Now, to make this 3 ways, you have a couple of options. One, you can just remove one of the chickens or all of the chicken and have the pasta as a side. You can also have the pasta alone without the chicken. Or you can also dice up the chicken, or if you cook it for longer, you can actually shred the chicken, and then you'll just add the chicken back into the pasta and mix it around, and now you've got a 100% chicken pasta, and it will look like this. So tasty. And here are the 3 options again: the chicken pasta, the pasta on its own, and the chicken with a side of pasta. All 3 are absolutely amazing. Thank you so much for watching my Dump and Go Crockpot recipe video. Please let me know if you're going to try any of these recipes, and if you do try them, come back and let me know how they are. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up, hit that subscribe button that you currently see on your screen, and I will see you guys in the next one.